This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Hey, we're Jeff and Bree. In June of 2022, we both quit our corporate software careers to travel the world as one-baggers to cross off the items on our bucket list that our PTO just wouldn't allow for, as well as some other cool stuff along the way while trying to remain as budget-friendly as possible.
This was $5
Each.
each.
So if you like shaky video footage coupled with Jeff, who is basically a human golden retriever,
That is the most ridiculous beer purchase I have ever done in my entire life.
and Bree, who is a real-life version of Wednesday Addams,
Oh, you okay?
then don't forget to subscribe and tag along.
Alright, good mid-morning from basically the middle of nowhere. Actually, we're pretty close to Queenstown. We're on our way to Te Anau. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that is our last stop before we go to Milford Sound. And there's one important thing that we want to do there, and that is the Glowworm cave. So we're really hoping that it lives up to the hype in all the photos. It's like these bright blue, it almost looks like a starry sky, but you're in a cave. And it's because these glowworms, they just hang from there and they light it up into this like fluorescent blue. We're hoping that the images aren't actually too heavily edited like, you know, they often are for marketing purposes. And we read a few different reviews because there are multiple caves in New Zealand, but this seems to be the most popular one. So fingers crossed that's going to look good. Right now we've got Brie in the kitchen.
Sandwiches.
At this stage in our van life experience, we've kind of just delegated different meals. So Brie takes care of lunch and maybe, you know, 1 out of 3 dinners, and then I'll do the dinners, and then we both clean together. And if you're just catching up with us now, we started out in Christchurch, where we headed to Lake Tekapo, and then we did Mount Cook in the Hooker Valley Trek, which, yes, it's a bit of a misnomer. And now we're heading further south to Te Anau, Milford Sound, and then we're going to hit the Catlins for a couple of days. Super excited to show you what's coming up in this amazing scenery that we've been driving through. And we made it. Welcome to Te Anau. So again, familiar scene. Bree's making us lunch. We're doing some protein bowls with banana, yogurt, granola, peanut butter, and cinnamon. And honey. And then after this, we gotta head straight back to town. It's only like a 7-minute walk down the road. And we're gonna do our Glowworm cave tour. So we're super pumped.
But you should really see this amazing campsite with its incredible views.
Oh yeah.
Not that one, the back window, Jeff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Can't get lucky with all of them.
Glowworm time. So we're here at the cave room place, and we just found out we're not allowed to film or use any photography. It's a safety issue, so this is where our journey ends.
So we went to the caves, go in with like a group of 12 people, and you have to take these little boats. And I was under the impression that there would be lights along the way and that the glowworms would just kind of glow brighter than the lights, but no, it's pitch black. And what? Am I stupid for thinking that?
Why would they have lights in the glowworm? The whole point is that they use their light.
Overall, I think it was a pretty solid 8 out of 10 for me. It was actually really cool to see them, and apparently you can find them all across New Zealand if you pop into any cave. I don't know why you would do that, but I'm glad I got to see it. I don't know another time when I would go. In terms of what the glowworms look like themselves, they look like little bright pinpricks. They're not like overly brilliant in color, but it was really cool to be able to see just how tiny they are on the ceiling, and they make all these really interesting like little patterns. So the only thing I didn't like was being completely in the dark in a boat. You can't see anything, you're bumping into walls, and what you don't know is there are other boats going past you, so you're like hitting them along the way. So it was a little bit scary, and also I'm a little bit claustrophobic, and caves are just not my forte. If you're in New Zealand, I would consider going and checking it out. I think it was worth the price, and I know some of the photos online are usually over edited, so I'll try to find some that are a little bit more true to form.
I actually really liked it. I think, yeah, 8 out of 10 almost seems a little low. I feel like 9 out of 10 for me was probably more on par. It was incredible. I had LASIK surgery done, so my only complaint was that it was just like the little pinpricks of light that Bree referenced were like
these massive halos of blue glow for me. But I actually don't think the photos that were on Google were too far from what you actually see, which I was pretty impressed by. I thought it was just going to be like tiny little bits of light here and there, but there were parts of the ceiling that were completely covered, and it was like you were just sailing through the stars, basically. It was an incredible experience, and I would absolutely do it again. Although it was really cool, we're really excited for what's coming tomorrow.
Good morning from the belly of Van Gogh. We are on our way to our Milford Sound cruise, and we could not be more pumped. Look at that face.
It's early.
It is early, and we got chewed up by sandflies. This campsite was just on a different level, but it came with some amazing views. So we stayed at the Milford Sound Lodge, which is only like 1 mile, 1.6 kilometers away from where we have to meet for our cruise, so it's a short 3-minute drive. The boat leaves at 8:50. We have to be there 30 minutes before, which is 8:20. It's a 10-minute walk from the paid car park. That's 8:10, and it's about a 5-minute drive, 3 minutes really. So 8:05, and we are a tad late. Plus we got Speed Demon Bree behind the wheel.
Yeah. Jeff yelled at me for going too slow yesterday on a fucking mountain pass.
Speed limit was 100 kilometers an hour, and we were doing 60 for the
We
record.
were doing 80.
We're doing 60. We're coming to New Zealand in the summer. Get some good bug spray, because these sandflies are no joke, and they are so annoying. And there are millions of
They
them
are everywhere. Everywhere.
everywhere. So as you can see, there are a lot of different boats you can take, and we went with the one behind us, the Mitra Peak, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, because it's supposed to be like a more intimate experience, smaller groups, although the boats don't look as nice maybe as some of these other ones.
We decided to sit inside for the first part of the journey because there are so many sandflies. There's no avoiding them if you come to New Zealand.
Getting underway, we're going to run for a quick safety break. If we can please have your attention.
To the van right now, and I think I forgot to mention this, but where we camped out or parked our van last night, you can hear all of the cicadas in the surrounding forest, and I've never heard it so loud in my life. It is quite literally deafening. So overall, I think this was definitely worth the money spent. It was so beautiful. It could almost bring you to tears. I've never been like underneath a waterfall on a boat before, and it was just mind-blowing.
The fjords here were incredible, and we were trying to remember, I think this is the first time I've ever actually sailed through a fjord, so it was really cool, a very unique experience. In Iceland, we got to drive around them, which was absolutely stunning, but it was very, very, very cool being actually on the water, looking up at these 600-meter walls, which was just insane. And hopefully some of the shots that we have show the perspective of how small the boats are in comparison to these massive glacier card valleys. Just some cool fun facts that we learned while we were on the boat. So this Fjordland, or the Fjordlands in general, which are the southern part of the South Island of New Zealand, are home to 700 unique species found only here, and that's flora and fauna. Also, because of the amount of fresh water that they get here, 7 meters per year. Now, to put that into perspective, the Amazon on average gets 3 meters per year, so you can imagine how much fresh water there is. And that actually creates a unique water formation where there's fresh water on top and then salt water from the Tasman Sea on bottom. So it's a very unique kind of mixture of water, which is really cool.
That experience was absolutely amazing. I would give it 5 out of 5 stars. But the next one, I have to say, I'm probably more excited for. But first we have to get there, which is like a 5-hour drive.
We just stopped and there are 2 Kia on this work truck.
No thank you.
I think he wants to come with us. So that was really cool. They're really rare to see. And the only thing I really know about those birds is I was watching a nature documentary once. Hopefully we can find the clip. And the nature photographer, or maybe it was the presenter of the show, was like laying down on the ground. And a Kia comes up behind him and just starts making love to his head.
God, he's got sharp claws. Ow, God, it's sharp.
Look, he's so happy.
And they just look like big, fluffy, dumb parrots, but they're super, super cool and very rare to see.
Welcome to the Catlins.
This is the best camping spot I've ever had in my entire life.
So granted, this in itself is not exactly an excursion, but it's all of the things that you get to do in the Catlins, which we're going to take the time to do today because we are going to stay here for 2 nights.
There's obviously so much to do here and we just don't have all the time in the world, so I'm just sitting here looking at this map trying to figure out what exactly we should fit in and what we should cut out. So right now the thinking is maybe we'll do Cathedral Cave, and you can only go when the tide goes out because otherwise you could get stranded. We're probably going to go to Curio Bay and check out some seals and some penguins, hopefully if they're there. Otherwise we'll check out the Petrified Forest. The other thing is there's another lighthouse further down which has access to 2 ancient shipwrecks which look pretty cool. Like I said, so much to do, so little time.
Welcome to Curio Bay.
First off is the Petrified Forest at Curio Bay, and this is actually what gave the bay its name because the people from the town said the bay was so curious, hence Curio Bay. One of my favorite parts about this so far is that we basically have this place completely to ourselves.
I cannot believe that we are the only people here.
Minus that guy climbing.
One of the 2 of 3 people here. Now on to the caves.
Your responsibility. So we made it down, and our shoes are completely filled with sand because, well, we wore shoes and it's a beach. But it's incredible, definitely worth it so far.
So the lady that owns our campsite told us that if we were to do only one thing in the Catlins, it would be this. And she was very right. This is probably the best thing of the day. And I don't know, best excursion? We'll see.
Final stop of the day.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen. So this wraps up our Catlins itinerary. I'm so happy that we got to at least see a couple of seals and a couple of sea lions. So bummed we didn't see any penguins, but we came at the wrong time of day. Granted, it's January right now and they're supposed to be here at dusk and dawn, so maybe we'll catch them on the way out of the holiday park. However, if you are considering coming to the Catlins, I know it's a little bit out of your way if you're in New Zealand. You need to go because this has been some of the best sightseeing we've ever seen in our lives and also on this trip.
All right. I think an important thing to say at this point, though, is which one was our favorite. And for that, I'm going to need some help. Well, what was your favorite?
So all of these excursions were amazing. You really can't go wrong picking any of them. I would say my least favorite was the glowworms because it was a little creepy, and also I'm a little claustrophobic, and being in a cave is just, you know, not good for that as it would turn out. So probably the best one I can think of is Milford Sound. But you know what? Followed closely by the Catlins.
Well, I think what we just learned there is that it's okay to be wrong, because absolutely number one, no questions asked, was the Catlins. It was incredible. It was a great way to be out in nature. We saw the endangered sea lions. I mean, we basically slept with a view of them, which was incredible. We saw some fur seals. You know, unfortunately we didn't get to see penguins, but hopefully next time. And I mean, just the coastline was stunning, not to mention the cathedral caves, which I would highly recommend if you're in the area. For me, the glowworm caves were probably a close second. Just sitting on this boat in total blackness, it felt like you were sailing through the cosmos. I don't know how else to describe it. It was a fantastic experience, and I highly recommend it if you're in the area. So I think what you should take away from this is that even though we're divided, we're just trying to highlight that all of the tours were fantastic. But this is no time to sit around and just talk to you guys, because we have to get ready. We are heading to Japan. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and click the little alert button so you don't miss our next video coming to you from the frozen north.